Welcome to CEO Zones, Meet the Speaker series, focusing on CEOs and business owners. It's my privilege today to have my newest friend, Mike Ashabraner, the Redneck Connector. And yes, he does wear that camo hat everywhere, 24/7. I've been with him many times on video, and he's always got it on, folks. Mike grew up a poor country boy in the foothills of Kentucky, where he wasn't taught the importance of education, hard work, work ethic, getting to know people, being a great neighbor, and I've found him to be a great neighbor virtually, as we've done many things now, literally online and around different communities. You will be enthralled by his down-to-earth advice, his endearing redneck persona, which part of that's real and part of that is an act, but that is who Mike is. He's an author, speaker, online community builder, a YouTube star, master marketer, a redneck financial and entrepreneurial coach. Welcome, Mike. It is my privilege to have you here today.
Oh my goodness, Bill. I'm excited. I'm behaving. That won't last long, but I am excited, my friend. I appreciate you a million. It's an honor to be here.
Well, thank you for being here with us. And as you know, our audience is CEOs and business owners who are looking for speakers, coaches, authors, cutting edge ways to scale their business. Public companies are looking for ways to get better interactions with their large clients and their sales team. So all those different buckets kind of come to mind as we kind of start today. But one of my always grounding question is, who were some of the mentors or role models that influenced your career?
Wow, you should have gave me homework cheat sheet. Yeah, all right, so honestly, growing up, as corny as this may sound, it was folks on TV. I grew up as a child in the '80s, right? So there was a whole lot of bad influence and silly things in the '80s. But I have to rank Rocky. Rocky, obviously, Balboa, right? The Rocky movies. But when it comes to real people, as I got older, I saw some more obscure, abstract type of folks, like people who were going down the life path, common, right? I do this thing, I do that thing, like Thomas Merton, for example, and then all of a sudden, now that, they went from, somebody playing music in a bar to now one of the most famous monks on planet Earth, right? So anytime I would see folks like that, it would really just start to fire something that was hidden deep down inside, right? Some kind of ambition that I try to keep down there, just to be average and ordinary, right? Because I didn't have a lot. I had dirt growing up, right? Not a lot of advantages, about bad examples. And so it's a different playing field when you come from dirt and you have zero self-confidence and understand who you are. So a lot of folks like that, Bible characters obviously very much relate to. And as I got older and grew up in my 40s, right, and not to be corny, but folks like you, because again, sometimes we don't know what we're capable of, or we deny what we're capable of. So anything inspirational, I could go on. Mother Teresa, right? There's a lot of folks who just, you just say, what happened with you? And closer to home, Kevin Smith. The guy, very, very successful guy. He lost his wallet and then it looked like he lost his mind. That's how I put it. And now he's out here changing the world with kindness, and we need that, So there's a mix of influence, but I would have to say my grandfather and my grandmother. If it wasn't for them, I don't think I'd be here right now. They were a great example. They brought me up in church. They really taught me the good side of life compared to what I saw, the not so good side, in my inner house. So that was it for me. They were really the bedrock.
Excellent. Not to take anything away from anyone, but Kevin Smith, for anybody that's interested, Kindness Worldwide, you can find that at the Hounds of Business on YouTube. You can find more about Kindness Worldwide on CEO Zone's website, ceozones.com. Go to the Generosity Zone, you'll see there. And CEO News as he goes global with his Kindness Worldwide every day. Kevin's quite a man. And
Amazing.
had the pleasure of meeting him in person a couple weeks ago. It was a great time. So back to the Hounds of Business. What is the Hounds of Business, and why would anybody want to join your community? What are you really trying to go there with?
Wow, that's a great question. And just a tiny bit of the backdrop, right? You can see the There's plenty of places, YouTube, Hounds of Business. I have a group called for the long, entertaining, as well as educational version of this story. But the long story short, I thought I was defective, Bill. When I finally dared to dream that I could be somebody, do something special, make an impact in the world. I mean, a lot of folks, especially since COVID, right? And at the time, I thought I was alone. And I always wanted to be something, not for my own ego, but because that's why we're here. What's the purpose? Why are we here? What are we supposed to accomplish? And so I'm not a dumb guy, but I had spent decades, no exaggeration, Bill, on bashing a square peg in a round hole, doing all the things that traditional marketers, even the gurus and those folks were telling me to do. And I felt like I stunk. I'm not cut out for business. I'm not cut out for marketing, fill in the blank. I'm not cut out for anything. And so before I gave up, I met this crazy cage fighter from Chicago, right? And, he wasn't a typical influencer because I had COVID stop me and a few things happened. And, for a couple of years, I made $6,000. I figured out how to do that in business and support other vice presidents. And so I found myself 3 years ago without income at Christmas with a family, right? Just scared. And this guy came out of nowhere. Funny how that happens, right, Bill? And this guy came out of nowhere, seemingly, and it was like Wizard of Oz. In a DM on LinkedIn, he pulled the curtain back, and he just started talking about all the things that I knew how to do and love to do. Build, know, like, and trust, create value and curiosity for potential collaborators, right, and organizations, and really have that farming approach. I had no idea how to do it on LinkedIn or Alignable and online. So here's what happened. I thought I stink. I thought I was defective. I thought I would. Here's spoiler alert, folks, because if you or your people and the folks in your team, in your organization, if they think this, here's the hope here. Here's the reality here. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong. You know what you did? You showed up to a daggum football game with a baseball bat. Now, how the heck are you supposed to win a game if you don't know the rules to the game and how it's played? And so, long story short, what I ended up doing was just saying, you know what? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. If I can't find a way to build a business that relates to who I am, right, and I can go out there and do that, then I'm going to be a rodeo clown or some stuff I could be naturally good at and successful. So I just redefined everything, and I started realizing there's different principles. I don't have to do the cookie cutter stuff. I don't have to do the things everybody else seemingly does. And then, without going on and on, I wasn't alone. I attracted folks just like me, all passion and no clue, but as well, I attracted people who were successful. But they couldn't figure out how to do it on LinkedIn. It's kind of like Michael Jordan. We saw what happened when he went to baseball. He's still a super athlete, but it's a learning curve, right? Right. So that's what I realized. I said, look, I'll wrap it up with this. People have an impact and a desire since COVID, especially, and they want to start a business. They want to evolve their business, and they want to make a true impact, have the time, money, freedom that they can go out there and do good things with their life, but they won't. They won't. And this is why I think you've done a lot of what you do, Bill, with CEO Zones. Because they don't have the resources, people, and support and formulas to get it done. And think about all the things in the world that we don't like or that's unjust or whatnot. These people like me with dirt, they have the ability, they have the passion. They lack the tools, they lack the things necessary. And that's why I created this. Or actually, I created it because I had no friends. But I evolved it with intention because I wasn't alone. And now, 5 success stories a day, not enough. We need 50. We need 500, Bill. That's why we're here.
Excellent. So just yesterday you had a video on LinkedIn Live, or a video replay that I watched this morning because I missed it last night. I apologize. And it's about the entrepreneur experience and yet another thing that you and a couple other co-founders have launched. You kind of hit on it just now, but come back to specifically that new community and what you're trying to do there. What are you going to accomplish?
Again, it's a testament to, there's nothing wrong with it. Traditional sales and all these things, but I stopped focusing on outcomes. And I started focusing on values, right, and alignment and these kind of things. It's a farming approach versus hunting. I want to reap a harvest year after year. So what happened is me just going out there, pushing up others, not talking about me, amplifying those people that are doing special things. And I was blessed many, many times this last couple months. All right. After I think you started it, Bill. You came first. Well, Kevin Smith came first, you, and then everybody else. And these folks were just like me. It was unbelievable. A million years, I would never find them. If I didn't create a community and an ecosystem to attract people like this, like a bug zapper, if I kept dog catching and annoying people, never happened. So what this is that a lot of things that people, again, they want to build a business, but they don't know how, and they hear, you need to build a website. But who told you that? Well, somebody told somebody who wants to build a business to build a website, and so they build a website. Well, nobody's coming to the website. And these kind of things where they don't know where to invest, they don't even know the right questions to ask. They're all passion and no clue, a lot of folks. And even the most successful folks start off that way at some point. Maybe you're 10 years old, but you still don't know what you don't know. So what they did, and it's really the entrepreneurial experience is really like the Hounds of Business. If a whole bunch of successful, tried and true entrepreneurs and business people, corporate people, and they all got together to say, how do we make a pathway to really give somebody a buffet of options that they can get what they need? You got to bring the desire. You have to bring the tenacity. But you don't have to guess, and you don't have to run around and mix methodologies. We're going to give you a pathway that you can do on your own time, in your own voice, in your own way. We're laying out the business strategy. You're the one that has to execute that. So we're making it affordable and accessible for the rest of us. People like me and folks who could do good things, they just don't have that opportunity, that break. That's what that's for.
Excellent. And you have a couple co-partners. Do you want to mention any of them there?
Oh, I would love to, Bill. Birds of a feather flock together, my friend. And, first of all, shout out to Larry Call. Larry Call's business is Red Pill Pathway. And there's a fun side story to that, folks. We're going to tell that one day. It was in him. And this guy doesn't need to do anything. He has put his money where his mouth is. He has put everything he has and who he is into this. And that's the kind of people I roll with, right? All in, right? We're not playing here. Also, his co-creator, Brian Muka, Special Forces operator in U.S. Navy. We got a lot of folks. There's Louisa. She was a hairstylist, hearing the awful stories from her clients, right? And then she decided to help them, and from the ground up had built a great coaching business. So there's tons of people. Shanda, there's Rick Meekins, right? We have Rick Meekins on the show, one of the most brilliant business strategists I've ever seen on earth. And here's what our common denominator is. Hey, heart. These folks don't need to do anything. They know that this is going to be a success. And you want to tell you the truth? You want to tell your audience the truth of why I'm here? You'll love it, Bill. Don't get nervous. It's not bad, though. All right. So I'm sitting over here being quiet, if you can imagine that. And I'm watching successful, good-hearted people come in, right, in the early formations of this. And then some of them would leave, right? It happens. And then more successful people would come in and stay. And I sat there and said, I feel like the maid who invested in Google in the early 90s. Kind of like this is real. And that's what I mean. I wasn't going to waste time on, doing the research. Well, to me, I was like, hey, who is here? And do they believe what they're saying? Is this just another, thing wrapped in a smile, and or is this real? Do they really believe that people are struggling? Or they really believe that, and are they going to take action on that? And they do. And so anyway, fast forwarding, what captured me the most was how this group of people, all different walks of life, and they came together and made this thing happen flawlessly. And I ain't going to get into detail, Bill, but right. I'll be pressed if you saw anything like this. The way this thing is structured and operates is really for the fairness of all those involved. There's no BS behind it. There's no investments in dog and pony show. Hey, here it is. Check it out. Take it or leave it. Spread the word. And I think you're a man like you know what that's like. You don't beg people. You just provide things. They can take it or leave it. And I love it.
Okay. I think that's what a lot of CEOs look for, because they don't have a lot of time. So they look for what do they need, and they get it, and they run on. So that's good.
That's it.
So you're also what I'll call a real marketer's marketer. Give us a couple key principles of networking, community building. Give us a couple live examples, if you will.
Yeah, that's a great question because I had put together, and remember, folks, I drove off the cliff 6,000 times, right? So by process of elimination, I was left with just what worked for folks like me, right? People who wanted to build relationships, farm, and all that. So I came up with and reverse engineered how I and other people were successful with this unique approach, right? It goes beyond relationship marketing. So the 4 C's, right, is clarity, then followed by connections, right? Connecting with the right people, exposure, common purpose. Then community, right? The playground. Well, it takes a long time to build a community for most of us. Not you, Bill, but for most of us, maybe it takes a long time. And so now you don't have to do that. You can just plug into an ecosystem like that provides that. So that maybe a CEO doesn't need it, but his business development staff could benefit, right? Sales, etc. And then finally, conversion. All that effort and work has to translate to money. We got to get paid for solving the problems with the right daggone people. And so that's what I provide. I teach the formula, right? Because if you come into the community and you get 4 leads and qualified, collaborations, and you can't close them, you got a business problem. You don't have a LinkedIn problem, right? And that's what I help people structure. But the final thing is this. Networking has just become a waste of time for a lot of us. And what we want to do is think about it this way. Networking is like water all over the floor. You're just dumping water on the floor. Community is what changes the game here. Community changes it from straight advertising, talking about me all day, to publicity, which is other people talking about you. It's exponential growth because we take all that water and networking and business cards and, unknown connections, and we put them into a group where folks can go and work with you, right? Think about it. Who are you going to like? Somebody who has a random kitty meme post every day in entertainment, or someone who shows up, brings qualified people to your show, and has your back? That's the difference maker. Does that make sense? Did I even answer the question?
You did.
Okay.
And for people who want the deeper understanding of that, they could go to CEO Zones inside our app community. You have an article that lays out those 4 C's in a couple pages, so it's a quick read, but it gives you the little bullets to go implement, which is the call to action. Go get it done. And you reminded me as you were saying that this article from the Harvard Business Review all the way back during COVID. So when was it? March of 2020, when community becomes your competitive advantage. I had reason to reread that this morning and thinking about you and those types of things, and you should have written the article. Maybe you get the Harvard Business Review to give them the 5-year newer, better article now. But
No.
so how many camo hats do you have?
Well, I had 3.
3.
I got this one out. So I wore this for you. This is my church flannel, but so I got this one, right? And I gave the other one away. So I don't have that many.
Okay, all right. I thought some nights they look different to me, but okay, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Do you drink?
Sometimes I wash it.
Maybe that's why. It looks like it.
That's it. But
Do you drink coffee?
yeah, I probably shouldn't. I mean, I'm a pretty excitable guy, but I do drink a lot of coffee.
Okay.
I pull a lot of late nighters here lately.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, I know you have because you're online live. So, whew. All right. We have another common acquaintance. Let's give him a shout out. You're reading a book called Jaded Health. How did you find out about that, and what are you doing about it?
I found him like I found everyone. Kevin, and then Kevin, you saw, this is how I interpret it. Mm-hmm. Bill saw me and Kevin and go, what's this? Like, it was just curiosity central. Like, how'd that happen, right? I love it. And it's similar, right? Everybody that I know, that I work with, I value, I'm blessed to be around, I didn't go get them. Because when I used to do that, Bill, I would get pepper sprayed over Zoom. It was awful. And now that I push people up, these people just want to reciprocate. That's who they are. Mm-hmm. So I had met David from the great Tanya Eberhard of Brand Face. And that's the lady who saw me and cleaned me up. Because she was in a live stream, and I commented. And she said, did that just say Redneck Financial Coach? Oh, my goodness. And it was just brain candy for her, branding mine. And so anyway, I met him through her, right? Back and forth, right? You help each other, And she said, no, you need Mike, right? And so anyway, I met this guy and I said, another daggum health coach. I said, oh, they're all after me. And I needed help because building a business will kill you. I mean, it will absolutely take your health and your sanity if you're not careful. And so, or test it. And so anyway, I met him and I liked him immediately. Remember, there's tens or hundreds of thousands of folks in this space, but there's only one David. And so I connected with the guy. I liked his story. It was the realest story I've heard. And I said, you know what? If I'm going to take advice, it's going to be from a man who gained like 8,000 pounds, lost it quickly on his own research, and then climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. See, we got too many people talking and not enough doing. And that's why I like this guy. And so he challenged me with his Jaded Health 42. I failed the first 2 weeks. And by the way, I wasn't even thinking. I grabbed a bag of Sun Chips because everybody was snacking, and I wasn't even thinking. Yeah, and then I'm like, well, I failed the first week. But you know what? It's all right. Bill, you wouldn't be who you are today, and your listeners wouldn't be here if they didn't fail. More than anyone. And I never believed that, guys. And I'm telling you, you know why you win? Because you're one of the craziest people that didn't give up when everything in life said you should. That's it. So, birds of a feather. I liked the guy, and I loved it. I liked him. Then I investigated him. Look, honest man, best teaching. That's like PB&J when they put it in the same jar, Bill. I'm still talking about it, man.
The one thing you left out that I found extremely credible with David, he did it after he was 60 years old.
Oh, yeah.
That's when it gets even tougher, right? Which you won't know that for another 20 years, but that's when it gets tougher. So I'm a little disappointed. I really am, because I didn't hear during some of that, the fish come to me. You said it, but you left that out, and I was, and the other one, this is cooler than a ceiling fan, doggone it. I really enjoy having you here today. And last night or this morning, you said it last night, but I watched it this morning. I've heard it before, but this morning's recording, it kind of jolted me. Cooler than a ceiling fan. And then I guess what you're really known for, and I don't think we had this byline in the beginning, would be grow your network and your network, which is how you bring together financial coaching, networking.
That's right.
How do we serve others together? You bring all of that into one pot, and if financial coaching comes out of it, that's okay, but how do we help you is more important. Maybe you need it, maybe you don't want it. That's fine with you as well. So it really is encouraging to me how you take all of your skills, as you explained it, and somebody woke you up there on that DM on LinkedIn. But so what's next? I mean, just yesterday you did the entrepreneurial experience. What's in the hopper after that, or what are you doing next? Because you seem to be doing something new every week.
Yes, sir. And it is cooler than the ceiling fan. So are you, Bill. And I mean that. He didn't pay me to say that. But that's it. Just keep this in mind. No matter what you're creating, times are changing, and they're changing rapidly. And soft skills like developing trust, sense of belonging, people are through it. They have X-ray vision now. All CEOs and upper-level folks and people on the ground understand they're no longer buying it. So don't sell it. Okay, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, on that note, I asked people. I'm going to give you all the real. Some people came to my group call because they had seen my articles, or they seen something, or someone said, "Hey, check this out." And I asked them. I said, "Hey, I'm just curious. Why? What caught your interest? Right? Why did you feel the need to come here? What drew you in? And why did you show up today? You have other things you could do." And every one of them, I could paraphrase every one of them and summarize it this way. Hey, everything was just fake. I came to get some value, and I knew they were going to try to sell me, but it was an infomercial. It was a crummy infomercial. It was a bait and switch. People are networking in ways that just doesn't work, and I don't want to do it anymore. And I said, well, why me? Why us? It's we ain't never seen no stuff like this, and they've seen it work. Just watching, reading comments. And so focus on the substance, right? And so focus on the substance. Yeah, they'll come for the nuance. They'll come to see a guy in a camo hat talking to, upper level folks, but they'll stay because, man, there's value there. There's true value. And so to answer your question, it was in my heart about a year ago, which sounded the most ridiculous thing. 1 million heart-centered high-level professionals. That's what my goal was. I didn't want to admit it. I think that was given to me by God. But 1 million, and I said, oh my gosh, how am I going to get 1 million? And then slowly I realized I ain't going to get 1 million. You know what I'm going to get? I'm going to give me a handful of rock stars and people that share that vision and that passion to go do all that stuff I'm about. And we, not I, we're going to do it. And that's what I'm doing. Ecosystems, strategic alliances, ecosystem mergers. We're taking baby steps and scaling things. We're testing things. And just that desire and strength of leadership is what's pulling this together. Because whatever I lack in skill, I make up for in 2 things: tenacity and other people who got the skill, right? So, I got 1,000 holes in my boat. But here's the key. I've got a community, and I've got folks like CEO Zones. I've got Pantheon F, over and over, Kindness Worldwide. And the world wants something positive and real. We're not selling this. We're just putting our bat symbol in the sky, and people say, well, dadgummit, finally something that can help me win-win and change the world, even in a small way. And I'll give you the last thing, Bill, if you want to hear something crazy. It seemed like you do, right? Somebody said, what's your goal? What's your audacious vision for the future? And I don't like the cookie cutter. I'll give you the real one. One day, someone's going to walk up to me out of nowhere and say, oh, it's you. And I'm like, yeah, it's me. Who is this? I love leading in the Hounds of Business community. I love this and this. And who is this? See, because I'm so far removed from this thing. If I get smacked by a bus, it continues. That's legacy. I want to see people, the next time there's an underserved community with underserved kids without coach, Bill, I'm buying them all a daggone coat, and no one's going to know I did it. So there will be an oil painting of my redneck hat and face somewhere because we had done something so extreme. I'll be dead at that time. I can't. My ego couldn't do it when I'm alive. But when that's it. That I'll use my life to improve the others' lives because I live this life and I don't like it, and it doesn't have to happen. So the blind can't lead the blind unless somebody plays the guide dog, and that's it. And I'm just blessed. So that's it. Anybody out there who, hey, I know somebody who can get in with you. We've got media network. We've got tools out the wazoo, buddy. But what we never have enough of is good-hearted, strong leaders that can just make things up as we go. And we do. We create things because we have the ecosystem. So that's it. Salesforce, development people, your frontline folks. Oh, yeah, the Playground of the Hounds can really help them really master this. And shameless plug, I teach this. I love teaching social media companies and teams that are great. Hey, apply the master attractor farming approach, and you'll go to unbelievable. Because people, last thing, Bill, if you don't do it in dating, dadgummit, don't do it in marketing. If you follow that principle, you'll see the needle move like crazy, folks. Seriously, Bill, we wouldn't be married if we pulled that stuff we see out there. I mean, it wouldn't have happened. So treat people well, and if you don't know how to do that in the arena of online, that's what I've got. Formula, Playground. That's it, brother.
That was a new one to me. If you don't do it in dating, don't do it in marketing. I wrote that one down. I have about 7 other Mike-isms, I'll call them. But that's a new
I'm trying
one.
to behave.
Well, yeah, well, you have these CEOs and owners, but I think you just capsulized all of the audience. What's your real passion when you get down to that is truly helping people grow and scale and reaching their goals and building systems so their goals actually are achieved, opposed to just a goal that hangs out there that you don't have a way to get there. So
it's hard. It's a horrible thing to live. I've lived it for 4 decades. To really want to be somebody and do something and be suppressed and not be capable of that or encouraged to do that. It's both. It's an inner job and outer job. Yeah, we have marketing problems. Yeah, we have this and that. But I'm going to tell you from experience and empirical evidence, once you get this right, once your self-worth and confidence and belief starts to elevate, which is really compounded by a support system of people like Bill and folks like this, oh yeah, your marketing strategy is going to amplify. Your people are going to be better because now you're not teaching a dog to meow anymore. You're not bashing a square. You're giving people like me Say, hey, I don't want to sales pitch anybody. I don't want to have 40 coffee chats to sell some poor sap something. I want to go out there and build a real relationship with somebody like this and go from there. We didn't become a hub of cancer by trying, dadgummit. We became a hub of cancer by supporting a woman who is absolutely putting everything on the line to help her daughter and her husband. And now she is beyond belief. The government even is in on it. And that's what we're talking here. So it is very profitable. It is worth the investment. And if it's a new concept, let's talk, because it's just you don't see it. And Bill, I appreciate the platform to get the word out, man. We're making big things happen. So,
Excellent.
man, I appreciate you, brother, and the encouragement.
Thank you. And I'm not sure what we're doing together next week, but there's something on our calendar. In any event, as we bring this episode of Meet the Speaker to a close, CEOs and owners watching, listening on the podcast, are you ready to hire Mike as your next speaker, your next coach, your next networking professional, a financial coach, a community builder? He has the resources, and if it's not him, ask him. He's got the right resource to send your way. He's got a YouTube channel called @Hounds of Business, which he has a bunch of episodes. One of them, he actually had me as his guest, so just skip that one, everybody, and go to the good stuff. His email is Mike at the redneckfinancialcoach.com. I apologize. And all of this will be down in the description. I'm sure Alexandria will cover me up there and make that right. And your LinkedIn profile is LinkedIn Redneck1, the number 1. And you can also be found at CEO Zones as a content partner, inside our app as a contributing content partner, a peer-to-peer networker. So if you really want to make him take his hat off, scratch his head, go into CEO Zones, the app community, and ask him a couple personal, direct questions, and he'll get right back to you. So thank you, Mike. It's been a pleasure. Really glad.
Oh, my pleasure.